We're live at Blockchain Futuristic Conference in Canada, Toronto. And we're here with my man, John. Nice to meet you, John.
Good to meet you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. And definitely, one of my favorite, coins ever, or, tokenization currencies is Bitcoin Cash. So when I saw that, I'm like, I got to talk to somebody. And hearing your story is amazing. But let us know a little bit how your journey, how you got into Bitcoin Cash and what you're doing for it, so people to really know the awareness of Bitcoin Cash.
Sure. Well, I originally got into Bitcoin around 2014. I thought it was interesting, internet money, and being kind of a tech guy, I said, well, this is at least pretty interesting intellectually, right?
Oh, yes.
And it was a little scary, so I started out with Doge. I mined a little Doge on my 2010 MacBook Pro. And eventually worked up the courage to start talking, in our Bitcoin and other Bitcoin forums. And then, the scaling debate erupted around when I got into it, 2015, 2016, eventually coming to a head in 2017. And then when that split happened, I made the decision pretty quickly. I said, well, if I need to kind of put my money where my mouth is, because I was on the big blocker side of that debate. And so I pretty quickly, within a couple of months, was fully moved over from BTC to BCH, and then started investing my time into making content about it.
That's amazing because, Bitcoin Cash is one of the OGs, right?
Sure.
And, I got my girlfriend involved. I got my mom involved. I'm like, you guys have to get into Bitcoin Cash because, some people are saying, okay, maybe Bitcoin is too high or whatever, but Bitcoin Cash is so undervalued. They have so much mass adoption in businesses that to take it. I think it's one of the best, currencies to really put out even Bitcoin. Just the fact that it's, called Bitcoin Cash, right? So it's like, okay, you're like, what is Bitcoin? What is this? It cash is what it is. But then when they really learn that it's, it's blockchain, but a different type of, a token than Bitcoin is Bitcoin Cash. And the fact that you guys have been doing it, pushing it, I think it's one of the most undervalued gems. So I like the story that you were telling me, how you even guys got here to push Bitcoin Cash. Can we learn more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So pretty recently, Bitcoin Cash enabled some smart contract features that I would love to talk about a little later. But one of the applications that was made possible by those improvements, those protocol improvements, was a platform called fundme.cash, which is run by one of the other hosts of the Bitcoin Cash booth. And what it is basically Kickstarter, but decentralized. And so because Bitcoin Cash doesn't have a central authority, no foundation, no group of people to ask for a grant, for example, say, oh, we think this is going to be really good, give us money. Well, there's no one to do that. So with Bitcoin Cash, it always has to be grassroots. You have to go through the crowdfunding and say, all right, here's what we plan to do. And if you can make it look valuable enough to the community, they'll fund it. And so that's what we did. We said, I think it's time for Bitcoin Cash to have a presence at bigger conferences like this because, we've been strapped for manpower, honestly, since the split in a lot of ways. And marketing has fallen to the wayside a little bit. But we decided it was time. We need to get Bitcoin Cash representation at a big conference like Futures Conference. And so we made this post. We said, this is how much we're asking for. It's going to cover flights and stays. And if you guys think, you guys being the Bitcoin Cash community, if you think it's valuable, please fund us. And they did, and so we're here.
Boom. That's what the power of community, especially when it comes to people just taking this to just push something, and especially in the DeFi network. And I love to see it because that's what it's all about. And right now, I need you guys to go out there and do it. I'm super bullish on Bitcoin Cash. It's one of my favorite. Honestly, it's in my top, for sure, top 5 of currencies that are out there. And of course, I love Doge. Doge is in my portfolio, one of my biggest portfolios. I love Doge. But you always try to look at that next one that has mass adoption or it's already adopted companies and stores. And I see a lot of Doge, and a big factor as well is Bitcoin Cash, especially in the crypto market. So the fact that you guys are out pushing it out there, I believe it's a lot of people's favorite crypto to really pay attention to or to invest now. That I believe it's like in the 200 to 300.
It's right around there, yep.
Yeah, and it's perfect. I saw it went up to 2,500. I've seen the history of it, but I think it's super undervalued. And the fact that you guys are out there shows, like, guys, make sure you know NFA, but do more research, because these guys are out here marketing and pushing. So I love to see it, John.
Yeah, well, thanks. And not to brag too much, but I think we've got a harder job than a lot of cryptocurrencies that have, say, a company backing them or a lot of VC capital. Bitcoin Cash, it's really a grassroots movement. So when we manage to put together kind of a ragtag team like we've got here to represent at the conference, I think that means a lot.
No, it does. It does. And so where can we find out? I know you also have your own platform like YouTube that where you push Bitcoin Cash and I believe other DeFi or blockchain new developments.
Sure, yeah. Well, you can find me on YouTube. I'm Bitcoin Out Loud. It's all one word. And there I'll talk about various things. A lot of times it's technical explanations that I tried to make as accessible as possible for the average Joe. And so I will talk about some pretty technical topics, but hopefully with the animations and my adherence to a very strictly, understandable script, you'll get something out of it. And there's a lot of other people making Bitcoin Cash content. Probably one of the biggest other ones is the Bitcoin Cash podcast. Okay. That guy, he just does a phenomenal job of putting out lots of content. And so if you want to find out what's going on like day to day or week to week with Bitcoin Cash, he's a great recommendation too.
Where can they find him?
So he's on YouTube too, just the Bitcoin Cash podcast.
That's awesome, bro. I love that you're also taking your time to promote other people as well. I think that's what we need to do because we're a big family right now. We're so early, there is no competition. And I believe the top 20, top 30 altcoins are going to be great. And Bitcoin Cash is continuing to be OG. And like people like yourself, John, that are pushing it, taking initiative, going to a conference, having the passion towards it is going to echo, for years to come because we are just in the prefaces of the beginning of seeing what's happening right now. Like it's not even older than 20 years. Like it's incredible like how early we are. So Bitcoin Cash definitely is undervalued right now, especially we're in the bear market. So this is kind of the time where you really research to see what cryptos you need to get into. So I think Bitcoin Cash has so much potential and growth and appreciate what you and others are doing, John.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate you saying so.
No, of course, guys. Bitcoin Cash. Let's go.